Jake Morrison, 34, ranch hand, had exactly $67 in his wallet. Christmas Eve, his truck payment, $450, was due in 48 hours or they'd repossess it. When a little girl, maybe 6, in a torn pink coat stood alone on Highway 87 asking, "Is Santa late because he can't find our ranch?" Jake gave her his last $60 for a taxi home. What Jake didn't know, that girl's father was watching from 200 yards away. 3 days later, everything changed. Jake's bank account, $67. His truck payment, $450. The repo notice said 48 hours. His father had died 7 months ago, heart attack in the barn, leaving Jake with the family ranch and $127,000 in debt. He worked 16-hour days fixing fences, feeding cattle, sleeping in the foreman's cabin. He ate 1 meal a day, sold his saddle, his father's rifle, his mother's wedding ring, all gone to pay the bank. Before his father's death, Jake had a future. Agricultural college, a girlfriend named Amy, but he'd given up everything to save the ranch. Amy left when she realized they'd never have money. The bank was foreclosing in 90 days. His childhood home, gone. December 24th, 6:43 p.m., Highway 87, 14 miles outside Amarillo. Jake was driving his beat-up Ford into town for his shift at the feed store. That's when he saw her, a little girl, pink coat with a ripped sleeve, standing on the side of the road, alone, in 28-degree weather. What Jake did next would cost him everything. Jake pulled over. The girl was shivering, no gloves. Her breath came in white clouds. He looked at the 320s in his wallet, his truck payment. If he gave this money away, they'd take his truck in 2 days. No truck meant no job, no ranch. But this child was freezing. His hands pulled out 320s. He knelt down to her level. "Here, sweetheart," he said, pressing the bills into her small hand. "Get yourself a warm ride home." Her eyes, bright blue, filled with tears, looked up at him. "Is Santa coming?" she whispered. Jake watched her flag down a taxi with his money. He sat. In his truck. Engine running. Heater broken. He had $7 left. $7. Christmas Eve. His truck would be gone in 48 hours. His last connection to his father. But he couldn't leave a child on a frozen highway. That decision would destroy his life in ways he never imagined. December 26th. The repo truck arrived at 9 a.m. Jake handed over the keys, his father's Ford F-150, gone. The ranch was 14 miles from town. No truck meant no way to get to the feed store. His boss called. "Jake, you missed your shift. That's 3 times. You're done. $11 an hour, gone." His last paycheck, $287. Not enough for the bank payment due January 15th. But his neighbor, old Carl, drove by. Saw Jake standing in the driveway. "Need a ride to town tomorrow?" he asked. "I can take you." Small kindness. It mattered. December 28th, the bank called. "Mr. Morrison, your payment is 90 days overdue. We're accelerating foreclosure. You have 30 days to vacate." Jake sat on the porch his grandfather built in 1947. 4 generations, ending with him. He'd given his last money to a stranger's child. Now he was losing everything his family had built. But he remembered her face, the way she'd asked about Santa, the innocence. That little girl made it home safe because of him. That had to count for something. December 30th. Jake's phone rang. Unknown number. Texas area code. He almost ignored it. "Is this Jake Morrison?" a man's voice asked. Deep. Professional. Serious. "I need to see you. Tomorrow. 2 p.m. The address is 1847 Cattle Drive Road. It's about what you did for my daughter." What Jake was about to discover would change everything he thought he knew. If this story is touching your heart, please subscribe to Everyday Kindness Stories. We share these stories to prove good people still exist in this world. What happens next will blow your mind. The man who called Jake wasn't just any father. He was someone who'd been searching for a person like Jake for years. The address Jake was given would lead to the biggest surprise of his life. Transitions naturally into next segment. The address was a ranch, but not just any ranch. 4,700 acres. White fences stretched for miles. The main house looked like something from a magazine. Stone and timber, wrap-around porch. Jake pulled up an old Carl's borrowed truck. A man stepped out, maybe 58, weathered face, expensive boots, cowboy hat that cost more than Jake's monthly bills. Behind him, the little girl, the pink coat. She saw Jake and ran. "That's him, Daddy. That's the cowboy who helped me. I'm Robert Hayes," the man said, shaking Jake's hand. "CEO of Hayes Cattle Corporation. We supply beef to 3,400 restaurants across Texas, worth $890 million. My daughter Emma, she wasn't lost. I had her stand on that highway. I've done this 47 times over the past 3 years. Different locations, different scenarios, testing people, who stops, who helps, who gives money to a child they don't know. You were the 48th person we tested, the first person in 3 years who gave their last money they desperately needed, to help my daughter get home safely. My son died 6 years ago, car accident, hitchhiking. No one stopped to help him. I've been searching for someone who understands what it means to put a stranger before yourself." What Mr. Hayes offered next would seem too good to be true. "I am offering you a position," Mr. Hayes said, pulling out a folder. "Regional Ranch Manager. Hayes Cattle Corporation, salary $95,000 a year. You'll oversee 12 ranches across West Texas. Your father's ranch, the debt, all $127,000. I'm paying it off. It stays in your family. And this." He handed Jake an envelope. Inside, a check, $30,000. For the truck they took, for the months you've struggled, for being the kind of man this world needs more of. Jake's knees buckled. He sat down hard on the porch steps. His vision blurred. Tears ran down his face into his beard. "I don't understand," he whispered. I couldn't leave her there." Mr. Hayes knelt beside him. Emma stood between them. "That's exactly why, Jake. You gave your last $60 to save my daughter. You lost your truck, your job, almost your ranch. But you didn't hesitate. That's not just kindness. That's character. That's what I've been searching for." But the story doesn't end there. 2 years later, Jake Morrison, 36, Regional Ranch Manager at Hayes Cattle Corporation. He'd helped save 23 family ranches from foreclosure. $4.2 million in debt relief distributed. Families kept their land, legacies preserved. His father's ranch still standing. Jake had renovated the barn, repaired the fences, brought in 200 head of cattle. He kept the torn pink coat Emma had worn that night. Mr. Hayes had it framed in the corporate office lobby. A plaque beneath it read, "The coat that changed everything. One stranger, one choice, one act of kindness led to hundreds of families saved." Jake looked at it every time he visited headquarters, a reminder he'd lost everything that night. His truck, his job, nearly his family's ranch. But he'd gained something more valuable, purpose, proof that doing the right thing, even when it costs everything, is never a mistake. Emma was 8 now. She volunteered at the ranch every summer, teaching kids about cattle, about hard work, about kindness. Mr. Hayes was right. Jake hadn't just saved Emma that night. He'd saved himself. And in doing so, he'd created a ripple that saved dozens of other families just like his. Kindness is never wasted. It might cost you everything in the moment, but somewhere, somehow, it comes back. Good people still exist in this world. You just have to be one of them. If this story moved you, please subscribe to Everyday Kindness Stories. Hit the bell so you never miss a story that proves humanity is beautiful. Next time, we'll share the story of a waitress who gave her last $20 to a homeless man, and what happened 3 weeks later will leave you speechless. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one.